I really wish I had a sound effect machine right now, but I don't have the budget for it. And so the best I can give you is a hand clap to celebrate every single one of you. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jerome Reid, and welcome to Season 3 of Influence's Impact. If you've been with me from the very beginning, or if this is your first time, welcome. I really wish I had a sound effect machine right now, but I don't have the budget for it. And so the best I can give you is a hand clap to celebrate every single one of you. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell because you do not want to miss any new and upcoming videos. Trust me, you really don't want to miss any new and upcoming videos, so please make sure you hit that notification bell and make sure that you subscribe to this channel. We all know the real reason why you guys are here, and that's an interview with Aaron Cole, Season 3, Episode 1. But before we get to that interview, I want to remind you that if you guys have any questions at all, send those questions off. I will answer them accordingly. And please leave it in the comment section. I will read every single comment, and I will actually personally heart every comment that I get to the best of my ability. I'm only one person, but I'll do the very best I can. Right now, I want you guys to always remember one thing, and that's to sit back and relax and enjoy this amazing interview with Aaron Cole. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jerome, and I am joined today with the one and only Aaron Cole, hip-hop artist, follower of Christ. And dude, I'm so excited that you are able to join me on the show today, man. It's a huge honor.
Man, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, for real.
It's so good. I know that right now we're going through a season where there's a lot of things going on, but what does an average day look like for you? I know the word average seems weird, but what does an average day look like for you?
Man, usually I wake up, get in my word, pray, probably hit the gym or hoop or something like that. And then after that, it just kind of depends on the day. Like I can, I usually work in the studio, or I might have, normal tasks to do. Like today I've been moving stuff. I'm moving out of my house. So,
wow.
So it just depends on the day. I'm a regular guy. So I got a lot of stuff to do, but that's, if I don't have anything else like regular to do, I'll be in the studio, working, or I might have a show. But COVID, of course, I haven't had shows. But but yeah, other than that, that's it.
Dude, that's awesome. I know, like you were saying, like moving and trying to get something done during a weird time is hard to do. But for you, because you mentioned that you're in the studio, I'll ask this: what does what does your creative process look like when it comes to writing a song?
Yeah. So usually now I start with a beat. If I go and work with somebody, like they usually either make something from scratch or they already have something in mind for me. And then after that, I just start like, okay, I do these things called what's the word I'm trying to look for? Because usually when I say the word, people don't understand what I'm saying. But scats. So a scat is like when a beat plays and I'll just mumble and scat over it, So I usually start with that. I just scat. If I really like the scat, I'll keep going. I'll keep like, like trying to put words together. That's when I add words and stuff like that. If I don't like the scat, I really like the beat, I do another scat. I just move on, like that's not it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then after that, it's kind of easy. Like it's just putting the words, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes when you get the words, like rethinking, like, you know what I'm saying, not settling with one thing. So yeah, that's usually my process. And then of course recording. So
yeah, dude, that's amazing. Do you have like a studio at your house, or do you go somewhere for recording?
Yeah, so I have like a small setup, a mic and all that stuff at the house. But I usually go out. I usually go to the producer's house or whoever's I'm working with. I go to their house. So that's how I usually like. I like to work where somebody else is doing my vocals. Yeah. Sometimes like when I'm doing my own vocals, I'm focusing too much on that, and I'm like, man, I just want to do my vocals and you handle that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's definitely a collaborative thing for sure.
Yeah. And I love collaborating. So So yeah, that's kind of my process. I usually, after I get a song, I listen to it all the time. So for those people that say like I don't listen to my music, I listen to my music all the time. I usually,
Yeah.
if it's not out, I listen to it. But once it comes out, that's when I kind of stop listening to it.
Yeah. Do you ever get I mean, this might be a weird question that I'm asking you, but do you ever get nervous whenever you produce a song, create a song, and like it's a day up before it gets released? Do you ever get nervous to think of maybe what are people going to think about this song when it comes out?
Yeah, for sure. I get nervous. I'm trying to think. There's a certain time where I get nervous, but then at another, like, once I get over that little hump, like I'm kind of like, it's fire. I know it's fire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
this is what I do. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get nervous. It's kind of like when I perform too. Like people always ask, do I get nervous when I perform? And it's like right before I perform, like, you know what I'm saying? I pray, and then right before I'm about to go on stage, right before they call my name, I get this little feeling, like, you know that feeling when you're about to go down a roller coaster?
Yeah.
I get that feeling in my stomach. And then they say Aaron Cole, I step on stage, and it goes away. Like, it's like, this is what I do. So it's kind of the same thing with, you know what I'm saying, when music coming out.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, there was something that I read online, but I want to make sure it's true, because whenever I read something, I want to go straight to the source. I read that you kind of started your career as an artist at age 4. Is that legit?
Yeah. I started rapping at 3. And then my first like album came out when I was 4, like, you know what I'm saying, without any label or anything like that. It was kind of a mixtape because I rapped on like 4 songs, and then I took kind of some of my other songs, other songs from my friends, and put it on there, like, you know what I'm saying, just showing love to them. But yeah, and then after that, I put out another project at 5, another project at 7, and then at 7 is when I started singing. So I started singing in church and stuff like that. And then my uncle was actually writing all my stuff at this time because, you know, I'm young. I mean, right? I just knew how to rap. I just knew how to perform. I always knew like how to do that. And so my uncle, he moved when I was 7 or 8. He moved away. Like he moved from Bristol, Virginia, where I'm from, and he had a family and all that stuff. So there was one time where I just went, I visited him. He taught me how to write, and then I started doing it on my own. And so after 7, I kind of chilled out a little bit. I didn't really do music. And then I turned 12. That's when I met Jesus for myself.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when I was like, this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do, like make music. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that's when I started for myself. I started writing for myself and all that stuff. So yeah, that's how I got my start. And at 15 is when like things kind of took off for me. So
that's insane, man. And it just, like, I love hearing your story, because some people, like for me, I'm a pastor for students and young adults, and I never thought this is what I would do when I was younger. So like when I was 4, I didn't even know what I was gonna eat for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't make sense. And and as I was getting older, I was thinking, okay, maybe I want to do acting. I love drama. Maybe that's my thing. But like to hear how, you know, you started at age 4, and it was just something that God knew was going to happen your whole life. But to see that kind of grow and manifest to where you're at today is huge. So I just want to say, like, dude, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Keep doing what you're doing. Now, did you always want to be an artist?
Yeah. Yeah, I always so it was either going to be I mean, you hear this all the time, but it was either music or basketball. So, I was very serious about basketball, like elementary school, and then middle school I was very serious. So like when they say like I would see on like documentaries, people would be like, oh, I slept with my ball, like I slept with my ball and all that stuff. Like elementary school, middle school, I was always at the basketball camps, and then I got to middle school like when I was 12 or so. I was still serious about basketball then because I was good. 8th grade, I was good. Because nothing had kind of took off for me yet.
Yeah.
So 15, that's where I was getting it. At 15, like freshman year, the year before, the coach was like, seeing me play, like the varsity coach, he was like, man, yeah, like we want to get you on varsity and all that stuff. And I kind of like, I had that summer, I had the decision to go on tour or go to basketball camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so I chose to go on tour. And then when I came back, I was rusty. So when I was rusty, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you back to JV. You know what I'm saying? I was already a freshman. So they like, all right, you rusty? Like, you're not really serious. Like, you on the JV. And so when that happened, I was just kind of like, man, music is my thing. Like, I played basketball a little bit my freshman year. I played JV again my sophomore year because the next summer I went on tour again. So it was like, I was just kind of like, this is what I'm going to do. I made up my mind then. So my junior year, I went homeschool, and I finished my senior year in the same year. And I was just like, let's get it going. Like, let's get this music.
Of course.
So, I think, I hope I answered your question. I don't remember.
No, you did. Yeah, you did.
Just went on a tangent, but yeah.
No, that's all good, man. No, you did. Like, just even hearing like the concept of why you do what you do, or the concept of you being an artist, and that's something that you've always strived for. I guess the follow-up question that I have would be, why are you an artist? Like, why do you do what you do?
That's a good question. Good question. I think, like I said before, I think because I know for a fact God called me to do this. Like, even sometimes when I think about giving up, it's like, man, God called me to do this. And I'm like, if I stop, you know what I'm saying, I'm kind of taking away the chance of God, like, using my music to touch somebody else's life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think about that. I think more people need to think about that. Like, you got to do what you called to do, because you know what I'm saying, you don't know what God is going to use you to do, you know what I'm saying, for somebody else, for the people, for the world, you know what I'm saying? But it's not always about you. It's really never about you, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not about me. So that would be one. Number two, why I do music, my family sacrificed a lot for me to be here, you know what I'm saying? And so I think if I was to give up, quit, it's like almost their sacrifices were in vain, you know what I'm saying? So that's my two biggest things. Like, I do it for, I know God's called this to be on my life, and my family sacrificing everything that they, you know what I'm saying, had to get me here.
Exactly, man.
So that's my two biggest ones.
I think what you just said, Aaron, like, a lot of people don't even understand what you just said right there. For those that are going to be watching or listening to this, where the fact that we know God called us, we don't want to waste that. Like, we don't want to just walk away and say, well, yeah, God called me, but I'm just going to hang up because now it's too much for me. Or I'm going to pick up that phone and I'm going to keep that call going, knowing that for however long I do this or whatever it is that you do, God's with you for it. And one of the things that I tell people is, like, when you think about it, we were created to create. Like, that's what I feel. And so with me even creating this podcast, it was trying to reach out to people that I find are doing creative things in ways that reflect the different parts of God. Because you and I, we reflect what God looks like, but in different ways, the image of God. And the question that I kind of want to ask you, and this is your answer, there's no ultimate answer, it's whatever you think. But in your opinion, what do you think the definition of a creative is?
Good question. Something I've never got before. Definition of a creative. That's so hard, because it's like, I want to say, that's one of those where I want to say somebody that creates. But I'm like, I think a creative is, they're almost like, to lack of a better word, like, or a better definition, it's like they adapt to their surroundings. It's like, I think for me, like, sometimes even when working on music, like, sometimes you don't have a idea right there, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes where it's an easy idea, it's like, oh, I hear something and it's like that. But sometimes you have to dig, and I think that's when I'm the most creative, because it's like, it's making you use your brain. Maybe that's the definition. A creative uses their brain, because there's a lot of people that's not creative and they don't use their brain. You know what I'm saying? Like
True,
they just
man.
go by rules. Like
Yeah.
that might be the opposite of creative for somebody that goes by rules. Because my dad gets like frustrated with me sometimes, all the time, because it's like me as a creative, I just think differently. Like I'm, you know what I'm saying? I think about, all right, how are people going to perceive this? You know what I'm saying? What are people going to think like about, you know what I'm saying, what I created?
Yeah.
Whether my dad is just like, man, put it out, do the rules, do the steps, and move on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, I think a creative is so like, they're so focused on the art. You know what I'm saying? They're so focused on making whatever they're making, you know, the greatest that they can be in that time. Like I said, being adaptive, being, you know what I'm saying, adapted to their surroundings of like what they can use. And so also, this is kind of all coming together now. Being a godly creative is using what God has put inside you. You know what I'm saying? Because like that ties to what I was saying about being adapting. It's like I'm using what's around me, and what's for me as a Christian creative, it's like I'm using what's inside me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow.
So bring it all around, using what's around you and using what's inside you. That's the key.
I like that, bro. That's dope. That's a good answer. I've actually never had. I always ask that question to a few people, and I've never actually had anyone yet say it the way that you did.
Okay, that's dope.
That's a good answer.
That was from God, because I've never got that question before. So
there you go, man. Well, the next time you know that, like, that's your answer right there.
No cap.
That's your answer right there. Now, I want to say something that I think you quoted this, or I read it somewhere online, and then I want to ask a question about what I'm reading. So this is what it says. It says, I remember in junior high just enjoying being a regular kid, but I would get picked on because I wasn't smoking, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't getting into trouble. One afternoon, I came home and told my dad what was going on and why, and he shared that he thought I was called for a purpose and that this calling would cost me not to be like everyone else. It was that moment that I encountered God for the first time for myself, and I knew I was born to do this and began writing and putting my songs together. Aaron, what advice?
Where's that from?
So I found this on the internet.
Okay, it's just somewhere random.
Yeah, I just found it somewhere on the internet. I think it was on like Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I found this on Wikipedia, and I believe it's you and your story and what you.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so my question to you is, what advice would you give someone, a young person or an artist that is starting off, that's afraid to start because of the fear of what others might say or think?
Man, I still struggle with this today. Literally, like last week, I was having a conversation with my team about this. But it's like the thing that I'm realizing, man, people are gonna talk about you regardless. Like whether you don't do something or you do something, whether you don't use what God calls you to do or whether you use what God called you and what God put inside you, you're gonna get talked about. Somebody's gonna have a problem with what you're doing. So you might as well use what's God put inside of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, lack of a better example, I think about Drake. Drake is, you know what I'm saying? He's one of those people, he does pop songs. I kind of compare it to me a lot because he does pop songs, he does hip hop songs. You know what I'm saying? But his hip hop fans, every time he does a pop song, have a problem. Oh, Drake's singing too much. Drake's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Drake's soft. You know what I'm saying? But all those songs are the things that got him to where he was at. You know what I'm saying? If he just did the hip hop songs, it's like he wouldn't be as far as he was.
Yeah.
That's what surpassed him past all the other hip hop people. So it's like, if he would have just been like, I'm going to listen to what they're saying, I'm just going to stick to hip hop, it's like, you probably wouldn't even know Drake as big as he was. But because he was like, man, I'm going to be me. I can sing a little bit. Let me go ahead and sing. Let me go ahead and do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to have your eyes set on the prize. You got to have, you know what I'm saying, what God put inside you. You got to stick to that more than you stick to what people are saying about you.
Yeah.
Stick to what God has put inside you rather than sticking to what people say about you. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's good.
So, yeah, that would be my advice. Stick to what God has put inside you instead of sticking to what people say about you. Because people don't talk about you regardless. So
that's good, Aaron. I think a lot of people are going to be encouraged by that. A
Dope.
lot of people.
Heard that.
Now, this question I'm going to ask, it probably already goes with something that you've said, but maybe you never thought of it this way. Because I know from the outsider's perspective, I see that artists go through a lot of stuff. So they
Yeah.
like you were saying, they put something out there, people like it or they don't. People like to comment on social media, and there's nothing we can do about it because we put ourselves out there, and sometimes we will receive things that we never asked for. But
Right.
how do you, especially as an artist, or even just as a person, is really, but as an artist, how do you keep your mental health focused on the main goal?
Mm. Another hard one. I think I hit after I put out my first album, Not by Chance. I kind of hit a little depression, like for the first time. Like I was one of those that I never really understood it. Like when people, a lot of artists was like, "Oh, I have depression. Like I struggle with depression." I never really understood it. But after the album, it was just kind of like before the album, I was just working towards this one thing. You know what I'm saying? You're working for, honestly, let's be real, like people's acceptance of what you're making. Like I said, the creative thing. And so when it came out, it was received well. Like everyone loved it. But then it was like after a little while, it just kind of died down. And then because I was just focused on that, I just kind of like hit a depression of like, do people care? Like, do people care about me? Like, should I keep doing this? You know what I'm saying? And so I think the main thing with like keeping your mental health is keeping your roots in order, keeping your, you know what I'm saying, things that actually matter. Because honestly, this stuff like this fame, this, you know what I'm saying, the clout, the likes, all that stuff really doesn't matter, and that can lead an artist to, you know what I'm saying, have bad mental health. You know what I'm saying? Not putting their family first, not putting God first, you know what I'm saying? That can lead to things like that. And so I think that's kind of how I deal with it now. It's like I have priorities, you know what I'm saying? It's like making sure your priorities are in order. It kind of not, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the words to say, but it's like having your priorities in order, that kind of puts mental health like in a good place for me. And also counseling. I'm not gonna cap. Counseling has been a help. Like I just, some of my friends were just kind of like, man, you should get counseling. And I was just like, man, ain't nothing wrong with me. Like I don't need counseling. But you know what I'm saying? When you go to counseling, you never know like the stuff that can be, you know what I'm saying, dug up from your roots that can, like, understanding it will help you. So I encourage anybody out there, you know what I'm saying, get counseling. Like, I think a lot of Christians are against counseling because they're like, God's your counselor, which is true. But it's like, we need counseling. Like counseling is a great thing. Make sure your person is saved and all that. But I think everybody needs counseling because we go through trauma. We go through different stuff at different levels, but we definitely go through that stuff. And so, keep your priorities in order and get counseling.
No, Aaron, man, that was, I think you being vulnerable like that is going to help so many people again, because it just goes to show, like, I know for you, you probably don't, you might not see this, I'm not too sure, but people like to put artists or anyone in general on pedestals, and they like to put them way up there and think that, you know, they're all that. They don't deal with this stuff down here. They don't know what it's like. But it's like, when you realize they're people just like all of us, there's no different. Only thing that's different is their talents and ours. That's it. They'll have emotions. They have ups and downs. They got family. People are born in their lives. People pass away. There's situations that we face. But when you said that moment of, you know, you had to have counseling or you had friends encourage you to do that, I think even that word can be a swear word to some Christians, because like you said, counseling, no, don't talk about that. You know, I got Jesus. I'm good. I got my Bible. But like you said, we sometimes need to talk to someone and let them know what we're dealing with, what we're going through. Which brings me to this question that I think you're going to love, because you came out with a single. You came out with a lot of dope songs, but you came out with this single called My Year. And I love that song. But I want to know, maybe for the people that know your music but haven't heard that song yet, or for some people that don't know what it's about, what is the track My Year about, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah. Um. Okay. So when I made My Year, um, I kind of get in these modes of like when I'm coming off of those depression times or those things where I'm feeling down on myself.
Yeah.
I kind of go to the ultimate other end, the opposite end of like, I'm great. Like I'm that guy, you know what I'm saying? And so I think My Year is that. It was just me speaking a lot of things. I think, you know what I'm saying? The Bible says power, you know what I'm saying, is in the tongue. You know, life and death is in the tongue. So it's like, I think a lot of people be scared of like speaking things into existence. Like that's biblical. And so for me, like when I say that, you know what I'm saying, sometimes I like to say like, oh, I'm the best rapper, I'm the best artist, whatever. I
Yeah.
think that's, you know what I'm saying, sometimes it could definitely get a thin line, a tricky line.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
most of the time when I think about it, it's like, man, I'm the best because of God. Like God gave me this gift, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like I'm the best because I'm using what God given me to put out, you know what I'm saying? And so in My Year, it was just like, man, this my year. I was proclaiming it like, this my year. You know what I'm saying? And I think I just wanted other people to like feel that, because that was easily one that I could have like kept to myself of like always playing. Like I sent a lot of songs to like my circle. Like my circle has a lot of songs that's never came out.
Right.
And that could have been one, but I think people like they need that. Like this my year. This every year. It's like that's why I said in the song like. I know I say it every year, but it's because every year my year, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that. So sometimes like when you get out of those depression things, you need to be speaking life over yourself. You need to be speaking God's word over yourself. So yeah, that's kind of what that was about for sure.
That's good, man. Now during this season that I call it a season because you know it's going to come and go, but during what we've been dealing with right now, how for you, Aaron, has your relationship with God grown through all of
this? Tremendously. Because I mean, while a lot of people, I know a lot of people lost their jobs, but like there was a good amount of people that kind of, you know what I'm saying, still had work or could find, you know what I'm saying, other little things of work. And I think for me, it was kind of like a shock, you know what I'm saying? It was like, so I was on tour and then it just stopped. It was like, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of worried. I'm like, how am I going to get paid? Because when you're on a label, you know what I'm saying, little game, little nugget, you don't get really paid off of your music. You get paid off of shows, merch, and you know, other little things outside of that. Independent artists do. Independent artists get paid from their money. So I think independent artists, they were still good because they just dropped music. They were getting, you know, checks from their music. But like for somebody like me that's on a label, like you don't get paid from your music most of the time. So with that, it's like when shows are gone, you don't get paid for your music. It's like, where does the money come from? Where does, you know what I'm saying? Where does living in a house come from? But man, I can honestly say, like every month, God provided, bro. Like out of nowhere, like it'll just be out of nowhere. Like I'll get a random ask, like, can you do this song? Can you come out? Can you do this virtual performance? Can you do this? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I was just kind of like, man, like that might seem superficial to some people, but I think for me, it was kind of like, bro, God really is a provider. You know what I'm saying? God is everything that he said he is.
Yeah.
You know, and so when something like a worldwide pandemic happens, it's like he's still a provider. He's still on the throne. He's still looking out for you. So yeah, for me, that kind of made me. Of course, when you're in the storm, you always be like clinging to God more. Like anybody, I don't care who you are, you cling to God more when you in that storm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I was reading my word more and all that stuff, and just to see like, man, God is still faithful despite the things that's going on in the world. Like it just grew my, you know what I'm saying, relationship with God to the max. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, God is still faithful even in the midst of the storm. I like that. I like that a
Okay.
lot. Again, it goes to show, like, I don't know, maybe if you even thought about these things before this pandemic came and all this stuff in the world, but it even gives creatives a new insight into, okay, I used to do things this way, but now
Yep.
maybe there's a different element that I never tapped into before that we can look at, the kind of, not just for the sake of helping financially, but helping others hear your music that maybe can't make a physical tour, but maybe
Yep.
your tour,
Yep.
I'm just making this up. You don't need to say you're doing it or not. And you don't even need to quote me. You can take this idea for free. But let's just say you're doing a tour in person, people all over, but you're still able to broadcast it online,
Right.
maybe for other people to experience, and they pay and all those things. So it just goes to show, like, the way God works, he'll throw a storm. I think a lot of times for us to look at different perspectives or to see a situation differently.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely, like, one thing that this pandemic taught me is, man, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because I think I was just focused on, I like, this is my bread and butter. Like, this is what I'm gonna do.
yeah,
But like certain things like this is like, nah, you gotta get out here and get, you know what I'm saying, use everything they gotta give you, not one thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So yeah,
That's
bro,
right,
for
man.
sure.
I just have a couple more questions that I'll ask you, and then we'll end. But one question is this: is there anything, Aaron, that you've learned now that you would do differently in the beginning if you had the chance
In the beginning of
of your, like, music career as an artist?
okay, yeah. Um Man, that's a good question. What do I do differently?
Like, if
I
there was,
think what we were talking about earlier,
yeah,
I would spend less time worrying about what other people thought.
mm,
I would spend more time just focusing on what God's given me, the team around me,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And using that to the best of my ability rather than what the cool people say, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? What the cool people have to say about what I'm doing and all that stuff. Like, I think that would be one thing that I would change for sure. Like,
yeah.
stop worrying about what people saying. Like I said, like, that's something that I'm just now learning, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Of like, people gonna talk about you regardless. So
Yeah,
who cares? You know what I'm saying? So
exactly it, man.
that'd definitely be one thing.
Yeah, that's good. And the thing is, if no one can say they can compare, you can say, look, you compare to Aaron Cole because he's just like you. He goes through things and he doesn't worry about what anyone else thinks, and neither should you.
No cap. Nope. Yep. No cap.
That's
Yeah,
right,
don't
man.
worry about what anybody else thinks. For
Yeah.
sure.
Last question, and you can answer as freely as you want. But what's next for you? What's next for Aaron Cole?
um Music.
Yeah,
It's a lot of more music coming. A lot of more not caring about what other people think. A lot of
yeah,
more just doing, you know what I'm saying, what I feel like God's putting inside me. Like, I think that's next. And it's gonna be a lot of more other stuff, like
hmm,
just different avenues. Like, I want to get into acting. I want to get into, you know what I'm saying, different stuff like that. I want to get into starting my own clothing line.
wow,
Working on that right now. Um, yeah, and I want to give back more. I want to, you know what I'm saying, build more in my city. So hopefully I get to do that more next year,
wow.
do more things. Um, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna hit different avenues, but it's like my music is hitting a different tier. So
Mhm.
next year we're gonna have a lot of different music. So
That's
yeah,
amazing, Aaron. Like, again, I want to thank you so much for your answers. Thank you for this time, because I know you're a busy man, and it means the world to me. Like, it's truly an honor that you can be on the show with me today. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
nah, for sure, man. Thank you for having me. This was great. This was dope.
Yeah, it was so good. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And just know that I'm out here in Canada. I'm praying for you and I'm cheering you on, man. I'm continuing to listen to your music, supporting you in that way. And maybe we'll talk sometime again soon.
For sure. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. For real.
No problem,
Appreciate
bro.
it.
All right, take care. Enjoy the
All
day.
right, bye bye.
All right, bye.